House Bill 2024. Recommendation is to pass it with amendments. So I'll explain the overall intent first, and then I'll go into the specific amendments. So the Senate is continuing to refine and develop House Bill 2024 to balance the interests and concerns of our Native Hawaiian community, to properly steward a cultural treasure with the interests of the state to the University of Hawaii, to continue its world-class science-based education and academic research unit in astronomy at Mauna Kea. In collaboration with the Higher Ed Chair, these proposed amendments are reflective of the discussions that we've had with various community groups, stakeholders, and from testimony submitted. Thus, the Senate Draft 2 is an improvement over Senate Draft 1. Senate Draft 1 addressed very real concerns regarding the potential demise of astronomy at Mauna Kea caused by the wholesale replacement of the university with the newly created Mauna Kea Stewardship Authority. But as noted, it was still a work in progress. Senate Draft 2 creates joint oversight of Mauna Kea between the university and the newly created authority. The responsibilities to manage the mountain will be bifurcated and split between two entities. The new authority will manage approximately 9,450 acres on the mountain, while the university will manage the astronomy research lands comprised of the astronomy precinct, Halepohaku complex, and the Mauna Kea access road, or approximately 550 acres. The existing 1968 and 1999 state leases between the State Board of Land and Natural Resources and the university will be kept in place. They're expiring in 2033. The university, as lessee under the state leases, will sublease to the authority within a year of its operational formation lands totaling 9,450 acres, which we have labeled the Mauna Kea Conservation Lands. The authority will be charged to properly conserve, protect, and manage the public uses of the Mauna Kea conservation lands. At the same time, the university will be solely responsible to care for and manage the astronomy research lands. The joint oversight structure addresses the perceived threat to the future of astronomy in our state through a collaborative sharing of management duties and responsibilities between the authority and the University of Hawaii. The current administrative organization under the aegis of the University of Hawaii at Hilo will be kept in place and will continue to service the operational and staff needs of both the new authority and the university, thereby avoiding any additional costs associated with creating a new organizational structure or two separate administrative structures. Our goal in Senate Draft 2 was to develop a management structure from a practical standpoint that would be workable while balancing the diverse interests in conservation, protection, and the regulation of current and future uses of Mauna Kea. Senate Draft 2, like Senate Draft 1, provides an audit to be done in 2029. The refinement of Senate Draft 2 continues to strive for the best balance of interests on Mauna Kea. We realize that each side may not be satisfied with the joint oversight model we are proposing, but unfortunately, there's no perfect solution to this controversy. Each side must be willing to work together. A shared responsibility model accomplishes that. So working with the subject matter chair, we'll be recommending amending definitions to establishing a joint authority between the Mauna Kea Stewardship and Oversight Authority and the University of Hawaii to effectuate the obligations and duties under the state lease. 3, requiring the University of Hawaii to sublease the lands comprising of the Mauna Kea conservation lands to the authority within a period not exceeding 1 year from the formation and operation of the authority. 4, limiting members of the authority to 3 partial or full terms. 5, inserting provisions regarding the utilization of personnel and the establishment of the authority's offices. 6, defining the authority's purview, responsibilities, and duties to encompass lands under the Mauna Kea conservation area to include a requirement for the authority to be financially self-sustaining after the 4th year following the transitional period, and B, establishment of a process that provides and ensures transparency, analysis, and justification for lease terms and monetary consideration that is equitable, feasible, and financially sustainable. 7, defining the University of Hawaii's role as a manager and caretaker of astronomy research land to include A, authorizations to develop a framework that may limit the number of observatories and astronomy-related facilities. B, authorization to establish a set of principles for returning the astronomy research lands to their natural state upon the loss of academic or research value of ground-based observatories. C, requiring the University of Hawaii to 1, continue preparations for the completion of the Mauna Kea Master Plan and Comprehensive Management Plan for the Astronomy Research Lands and Mauna Kea Conservation Lands. And 2, prepare and apply for a renewal of the state lease for both the University of Hawaii and the authority. D, authorization to enter into cooperative agreements, easements, subleases, or other contracts with the authority, any state agency, any county agency, and private landowners whose lands are within the jurisdictional boundaries of the astronomy research lands. And E, commencement and completion of the timely decommissioning of certain telescopes. 8, declaring that astronomy is a policy of the state. 9, clarifying that guiding values shall perpetuate Native Hawaiian traditional and customary practices. 10, requiring the submission of the annual reports, each from the authority and the University of Hawaii. 11, deleting the authority's authorization to establish an appropriate entryway to Mauna Kea and specifications to the University of Hawaii's minimum viewing time at the telescopes. B, requiring the sublease between the University of Hawaii and the authority to contain specific provisions regarding any sublease issued by the authority. 13, deleting sections related to general leases, restricting and planning. 14, requiring the University of Hawaii to negotiate a $1 per year lease with the authority for the purposes of establishing an office. 15, amending section 76-16B HRS to exempt positions under the authority from civil service. Amending section 1 to reflect its amended purpose. 17, inserting other provisions to effectuate the enactment of this measure and to comport with other illegal requirements. And lastly, making technical non-substantive amendments to the purpose for the purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? If not, chair votes aye.
You kept the defective date. You kept the defective date.
Yeah.
Chair votes aye. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Kanula.
Aye.
Senator Johnny.
Aye.
Senator Misalucha.
Aye.
Senator Milwaukee.
Aye.
Senator Shimabukuro.
Aye.
Senator Taniguchi.
Aye.
Senator Wakai.
Yes.
Senator Vella. Aye. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you.